So I just got done listening to um, a video done by a black female that lives in Colorado. And she said that in Denver, Colorado, that the Latinos and the blacks, I guess within the younger population, the Latinos are kind of giving the blacks a hard time. They're showing them that they got beef with them. They're showing them that there's no unity between black and brown people. The girls are walking around giving black females dirty looks. And one of the things that this young woman mentioned is that she sees a lot of Latino women, younger women, running around with black men. But yet, she feels like a lot of them don't like black women. They're showing black women that there's beef between blacks and Latinos. She's saying that there's a lot of racism going on up there. And so my question is this: you can't walk around with the men of another race and have beef with the women of that race. That's not going to work. That's going to cause a lot of friction and a lot of trouble and a lot of fights. You can't do that. That's like black women getting with Latino men and shitting all over Latina women. I don't think Latina women would like that very much. But this girl that made this video is basically saying that that's kind of what's going on. She said that there's a lot of Latino girls walking around with black men and that they're sleeping with them, having these biracial kids. And she said that she realizes that when they raise their biracial children, they raise them to not like black people. They raise them to be racist. And see, and I've discussed this with you guys before. I've told you about this, that a lot of Latina women, not all, okay, I do want to stress it's not all, but a lot of them will dislike black women, turn around, date a black man, have a biracial child, and then raise that biracial child to be racist towards black people. Now, when she was making her video, she mentioned that she has noticed that when these Latina women have biracial children, they raise the male children to be racist towards black females. Okay. And I wouldn't doubt that that's happening. I wouldn't doubt it, because I've seen cases where some of these black Latinos, they're biracials and they walk around like they got something over black people. When how is that possible when you're 50% black? It doesn't matter if you got a Hispanic last name. If the world sees that you have any Negroid blood in you, they're pretty much going to see you as black. Regardless of having a Latino last name. Okay, it didn't work for my mother. Okay, she still was seen as black even though she's very, very light-skinned. She's half Mexican and half black. She's never really been accepted by the Latino community. She has, friends from high school that will talk to her every now and then. Some of them, a few of them are Latino, but other outside of that, she's never really been befriended by any of them. Never really been accepted by the Latinos like that, because they see her as black, regardless of her last name, regardless that her father is Mexican. They don't care, because as far as they're concerned, you're black. Okay? This doesn't have anything to do with me trying to place her in the black category. These are just the facts. But you cannot date the race, the men of a different race, and then be racist towards the women of that race. That doesn't work, because you're setting up problems for that child. That child is going to have to go through hell when they become of age, because people remember a lot of things, and when you reject your own people, there's going to come a time when you need them, and they're going to turn their backs on you. Now, there's not a lot, but there's a handful of black women that are married to Latino men. I don't know of any of them that are raising their biracial children to dislike Latina females. But what if black women did something like that? How would the Latin community feel? We're coming into your community, taking your sons away from your community, procreating with them, marrying them, and then raising the offspring up to be racist towards Latinos. How much sense does that make? Wouldn't it make better sense for those black females to just marry black men? But why go to another race of people, procreate with them, and then raise the offspring up to be racist? Why not just stick with your own people? But yeah, I've seen cases where that's actually happened. It doesn't happen. It hasn't happened in all cases. I know of some Zambos that are actually very cool, and then I know of others that are very reluctant to hang out with or speak to people in the black community, even though they're 50% black. It would have made better sense for the mother to just breed with somebody from her own race. That's real stupid to go to a different race, produce a child, and then raise that child to be racist towards their other half. Why not just marry somebody from your own community. It makes better sense. But a lot of people, especially women, there's a lot of things that one of the reasons why I think that there are some people out there that do that, particularly Latinas and white women. They get with these black men, they got a problem with black women, they procreate with these black men and then raise the offspring up to be racist. One of the reasons why I think they do that is because they're trying to have children that harbor our talents, our musical skills, our athletic ability, our ambition, our motivation. Some of these other races just kind of feel like they don't really have that. And so they'll go and breed with another race to try to, so that their offspring can inherit the things that they don't think that their race of people have. So they're basically stealing your genes, and that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of them will raise the offspring up to be racist towards its other half. With a lot of white women, a lot of the times they're trying to get that melanin. They're trying to have babies with some skin color to them because a lot of them don't like being white. They don't like their white skin. And they don't really like black people like that either, but they'll come and have children with a black person and then raise that offspring up to be racist and then show that baby off as if the baby got that melanated skin from its mother. She won't give the black community any credit for their half in the creation of that biracial child. But yet she'll credit her race of people for everything. I've seen cases like that where that's happened as well, where they will credit their race of people for everything that their biracial child has. Oh, well, so-and-so is she has such a nice hair texture and blah, blah this and blah, blah that. And she's so beautiful and everyone just loves her skin tone. But they will not credit the black race for nothing. But instead, they'll raise that offspring up to hate its black side. Because they're basically trying to steal your genes. Okay, so you guys got to be very, very careful with who you procreate with, because it's not cool to procreate with enemies, because it causes a lot of problems for the offspring. And if you don't believe me, speak to biracial people, and I'm talking first generation. Okay, I'm a MGM, so I'm multi-generationally mixed. You could talk to me as well, because I can tell you it's a very tough life living as a mixed race person. It's not easy at all, never has been. You don't fit in anywhere. You're rejected by both races, even though you're not even a first generation mulatto. I'm like second and fourth in my family line, because my mother is a biracial. But my father is an MGM himself. Both of his parents were biracial. Okay, so his grandparents on both sides, white man, black woman on both sides. But it's been hell for me because I actually inherited white features. I have European features. Sometimes it's hard to see, but it just depends on how I wear my hair a lot of the times, and how slender I am. You know, it comes out more when I'm slender. And when I wear my hair in certain hairstyles, you could see the European blood come out more. But if I'm leaning more towards the plump side and I'm wearing more black hairstyles, then I tend to look more black. Either way, regardless of what I look like, regardless of how I talk, I am not accepted by either race of people, never have been. And I'm not even, like I said, I'm not even first generation. But sometimes I can look like I am. And sometimes I can look pure black, just light-skinned. But even still, somehow black people know, deep down they know that I am a multi-generationally mixed person. Because it shows in their mannerisms towards me. They don't act the same towards me that they act like they act towards other people who look more like them. There's a huge difference in how I'm treated versus how other black people are treated in the black community. There's a big difference, and I can see it. I've always been able to see it. Okay? And like I said, I'm not even first generation. I am multi-generationally mixed, and I still suffer the curses of, being biracial. So I just wanted to put that out there. My message to the young black women in Denver, Colorado would be this. Start opening up your options because, Colorado is a very mixed race type environment, and it's pushed here. It's encouraged here to racially mix up. A lot of that is done in military environments. So it has always been a place where interracial mixing is highly recommended because of the military. They have some type of agenda that they want to fulfill, and they're going to carry it out. So as long as black men are willingly participating in this, you don't have any other choice but to either go with the flow and marry and procreate with someone who, you get along with regardless of their racial background, or just remain single and don't have no kids. That's the best thing I can tell you guys, because there's something about Colorado besides the military environment where race mixing has always been heavily pushed out here. It's always been like that. And there's nothing is going to change it. The only way to get out of that type of environment is to move, is to leave the state of Colorado. That's the only way you can get out of that. Go to an environment that's more black. Go to an environment that's more in favor of you. even if you have to leave the United States, because really this race mixing thing is nationwide anymore. It's really getting nationwide now. So if you want to avoid this, if you want black kids, I would say try to leave this place, leave the United States. Okay? Because really, there's no way out of this. They're using black magic to promote a lot of this stuff. They're brainwashing people. They're using a lot of mind control. They have this agenda where they want to mix up the United States, and nothing is going to stop them. So my advice to you guys is just what I said. If you can't find a black man and you really want one, leave the United States and go somewhere where there's a lot of black people. Go to one of these Caribbean islands, or go to Africa, or some place where there's a lot of black people, and just set up shop and live there. You'll meet someone eventually. But when you're having to go up against whites and Latinos and Asians, and they're getting a whole lot of help from all these different sources that they have. The media is pushing all this race mixing. The military is pushing it. There's really nothing you can do. And black men are taking advantage of it. They're not thinking about the black community. So, you either are going to have to get with the program and find someone, regardless of what race they are, someone that you get along with, and marry them and procreate with them. Outside of that, you're going to have to leave the United States. And that's pretty much the best advice I can give you guys. From speaking from someone who's lived in this life. Okay? And, I'm wishing you guys the best of luck. Okay? And I'm out.